who was in the airport. That was against his assurances that they would not be killed. So the general and his colleagues were all killed, and these were directives from the chief, the commander-in-chief, the chairman and commander-in-chief of the Splm-Io. Now, these events continue to develop. And as a result, the IO forces, in the name of the White Army and the Nas Defense Forces, one, attack and overran Nasser garrison. Number two, the Splm-Io continue to mobilize and preach hate speech, hatred, and tribalism in the name of protection the North land. The North land, which means the land of the Nuer, or the Nuer land. On the 25th of March, on the directives of the Riek Machar as well, the Splm-Io forces, which were already in the unified forces, attacked their brothers and sisters in those areas. They attacked them, they attacked their colleagues who were trained with them, deployed with them, and they were staying together. They attacked them on the 25th in Tunga, Nyalwar, Munku, Wadlel, and Rajab Training Center. And they took over these areas. They took over these positions. What took place in Rajab here is very near, and you know what happened. They took over these areas, and the forces here for Rajab, the SSPDF had to move to go and take over Rajab. They fell in an ambush by these forces, by the Splm-Io forces, and nevertheless, the SSPDF managed to repulse them and chase them away from the center. For other places, of course, they are still continuing under their occupation, and the SSPDF is progressing, and it is moving towards those centers in order to take them over from. On the 26th of March, and on the directives of Dr. Riek Machar, the Splm-Io component at the training centers of Abudmaku, Panier, withdrew to unknown destination. This is there is a training center here, which was meant actually to be the training college, where the IO forces, where the National Security Forces were there, combined forces. Those forces withdrew, and it is not known where they have gone. They don't have arms, but they withdrew with some of the trainers. Some of the trainers who were armed, they withdrew with them to unknown destination. Also, the forces of Panier also, who were there, they have also withdrawn with their trainers, and it is not known where they have gone to. But they are in South Sudan. Now, with this, based on the same, and the continuation of the contacts with the politicians and the generals of the Splm-Io, when they realized that this thing is already known, and that some of them were about to be arrested, then these people, General Dak, who is from the National Security, General Wesley Welebe, who is from the SSPDF in the general headquarters here, was an IO, but he's already integrated. and Minister Pal Mai Deng. These people have disappeared. In addition to that, the person from whom you have been receiving reports and who have been writing all the time, that is the first Deputy Speaker of the Transitional National Legislative Assembly, who is Nathaniel Oyet. They have all disappeared. They are no longer in town. Some of them are here, others are outside the country. Somebody like Nathaniel Oyet, I understand that is in Uganda at present. These are the people who have left. Based on that, and in order to save the transitional national, the agreement, in order to save the agreement, and an exercise of his powers vested upon him, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, who is in charge of the safety and security of the lives and properties of the people of South Sudan, who is in charge of the safety and safety of the territory of the Republic of South Sudan. His Excellency President Salva Mayardit directed that the Vice President, Dr. Riek Machar, should be put under house arrest pending investigation. This is an exercise of powers vested upon him, and this is why you might have heard that Dr. Riek Machar is under house arrest. He's under house arrest, will be subjected to investigation, and it is the investigation that will prove his innocence or his guilt. So this is what happened. This action is dictated by the need for the protection of the hard-won independence for which our heroes and heroines shed their blood and sacrificed their lives. There is no joke about this, because this independence which we got today was not given to us on a silver plate. It was paid for, and we have paid lives and blood. And as such, anybody who would attempt to play with this independence will not be tolerated. For that matter, His Excellency the President directed his arrest. People have been saying, well, this is a violation of the agreement. Does the agreement authorize anybody to take the lives of others? Does the agreement authorize you to do whatever that is unlawful because of the agreement? No. The agreement is an agreement governed by law, and we must abide by that law. If we decide to violate in the name of the agreement, then it is unfortunate. So, with that, this is to inform you that the Vice President is under house arrest, and he will be investigated. The outcome of the investigation will be known to you. Why did the President do that? The President did this in order to save the agreement. All these efforts which are being exerted and all these games which were being played around are games which are meant to derail the agreement. There are events, all that took place is to ensure, for them to ensure that the agreement does not go ahead, that the agreement collapses, so that we don't go for elections. So anybody who is obstructing the progress of this agreement will not be tolerated. I'm saying this because the agreement came as a result of negotiations. It did not give any party the right to obstruct the progress which is being made in the implementation of that. It did not give anybody the right. To commit offenses in the name of the agreement so that he is tolerated because we are fearing that the agreement may collapse. No. Such actions are the actions that will lead to the collapse of the agreement. This is why the president had to intervene in order to prevent the collapse of it. So this is the reason why Dr. Riek Machar, if you might have heard, is at present under house arrest. There are those who are in the social media. There are those who are saying no, the vice president is not under house arrest. I've come here to confirm that he's under house arrest, so that you don't listen to all those people, those who try to deviate and create unnecessary havoc around the issues. With that, as a government, we call upon the brothers and sisters who have been misled or misinformed and moved in a way or the other against the government to come back and report to their respective units or institutions. Anybody who is misinformed, anybody who is misled, please come back to your unit. You are from the regular forces, you are from the SSPDF, you are from the regular forces, or you are from IO and you are not yet integrated, please come back to the government sites. If you are integrated and a member of the unified forces, come back and report to your unified force. We will not question you, but we ask you to come back. We also call upon the national and the regional international organizations to give a helping hand in terms of food and shelter to the communities that are affected by this disaster which has befallen us. The government also calls upon the national and regional and international organizations to support and report credible information in relation to the current crisis and developments. I repeat, credible information. Credible information. Credible information is very important because you need to know exactly what you are reporting. It's not a question of picking it from any direction and then you say, yes, it is. This is what is being said. These days there are so many sources of information, some of which are not reliable sources. Like what I have just said, that people are saying there is another media house which is now in the air. It is saying Riek Machar is not under house arrest. The government is saying Riek Machar is not arrested. This is one of their sources. So we want you to take the most credible information. Don't just pick from anywhere and then you quote that source. With that, let me assure you and the people of South Sudan that the situation is normal. The situation is normal and it is under full control. There are some sources which have taken up the issue of security of South Sudan. If you might have come across an information which they call a security brief by Radisson Blue. Radisson Blue, which is a business company, it is a hotel, and has taken up the security of South Sudan to be its own. And what they did, they have reduced their personnel, that is one. Number two, they have advised all the expatriates to leave the country. Imagine, advising all the expatriates to leave the country. In what capacity now are they writing? This is simply because everybody has decided to take the security of South Sudan into his own hands. And this is why Radisson Blu, the management of Radisson Blu decided to write that way. Radisson Blu will answer. And it is that report of Radisson Blu that has caused a lot of negative impact. And that is not the correct way, that is not the right way. With this, I urge the citizens to disregard any social media propaganda and cautions them to refrain from spreading false information and making inflammatory remarks to fuel this situation. If those of Radisson Blu can come up with such a thing, what are they doing? They are fueling up this situation. If Radisson Blu, as a company, feels insecure, they should pack and go. But they should not call on foreigners, other expatriates, and tell them, no, you are insecure. Are they in charge of their security? Even the staff of the Radisson Blu is the responsibility of the government of South Sudan. Not for them to claim being responsible for the security of others. And who are those authorities that usually advise them on security issues here in South Sudan? This is how we have been infiltrated. This is how security of South Sudan has been compromised, and will not allow that to happen anymore. Anybody who tampers with the security of South Sudan will not be tolerated. Because we are here as a government. We are here as a sovereign state. Anybody, any foreigner who does not feel secure, is up to him or her to go. But for others to tell others that no, you don't need to stay here, go away, then we will start with them to go away. And even if it means that business closes down, we will do so. Because they are not helping us in any way, they only came to establish a business. And if they have come here to establish a business and they have decided to take over the security of our country, then that is a different. So I'm requesting all the media houses to refrain from collecting information from unreliable sources. Collect information from the right sources whom you can quote. Because this is the most important thing. Any information that you get, you must quote it so that when you are asked, you will be in a position to say, yes, I got it from X or Y. But when you pick it anyhow and then you begin to disseminate it, at the end of the day, you may find yourself forwarding or giving out the necessary an information which is not in place. An example. Yesterday, Mama Rebecca, the vice president, who had been sick all this time, left yesterday from Juba International Airport, going to Nairobi, and today she will be leaving for Dubai. She is going for a trip. Now, some of you have already picked it and said, oh, things are very bad. Even Mama Rebecca has escaped. Imagine. And even if I were not to come back, I think you would have said that Michael has escaped. Because I had to come back and cut my mission yesterday, and I came back yesterday. These are some of the information that need to be verified before you pass any information. Mama Rebecca is going on sick leave. She had been sick all this time, and she was allowed by the president to go for treatment. And this must be understood clearly. So it is unfortunate that we have started to pick some of the informations which are not called for. His Excellency the President had been very clear from day one that I will not take South Sudan back to war. And these steps which has been taken up to now are steps that will prevent us from going back to war. We'll not go back to war, but we'll continue with the implementation of the agreement. Those who have been dreaming and trying their level best to ensure that the agreement will collapse, this agreement will not collapse. It will continue, and it will continue, and we'll continue to implement it in letter and spirit. It will be implemented in letter and spirit, and elections will be run. Those who do not want elections, those who are creating all these obstacles,